Hey, thanks for hitting play today. So today I went on a really long walk. It's Easter Sunday here, and to give my Achilles a rest and to really start getting into the headspace of doing Everest Base Camp and Lobuche Peak, which is a climb, I decided to walk around the local area and also get by the river. There's a really great trail there that actually is quite hilly. So as I was doing that, I thought, because I'm walking, I can listen to an audiobook. I don't tend to listen to audiobooks or even really podcasts when I go for a run. Mainly I like to just play music and tune out. But because I was walking, going at a slower pace, I felt like I could digest it. And the audiobook I was listening to is Jim Rohn's collection. I think I got it from Audible maybe 5 or 6 years ago for about $50. And it's basically his 12-disc CD put into audiobook version. It's just a library, over 12 hours of Jim Rohn. If you don't know Jim Rohn, he was a motivational speaker in the 70s, 80s, 90s, I think even in early 2000s. He's no longer alive. Probably one of my favorites. Like everyone has their own favorite sort of speaker, but he is number one for me. He is a master storyteller. Half the reason I listen to him is just to understand how he explains things. He's funny. I met someone that actually had dinner with Jim Rohn. They'd met him. They were a professional speaker. And he said, yeah, Jim Rohn was just the quietest man off stage, like such an introvert. Anyway, today he was talking about how to turn nothing into something. And I actually want to write a Substack post about, my approach to this, but I wanted to put this in the context of a project that I'm working on at the moment, a really small project, nothing big. But as I was watching the YouTube replay of my conversation with Alan Weiss, I was like, my Zoom background is so boring. Like, the background that I have in my office is so dull. So I thought, why not over the long weekend just paint it? Paint the walls, let's see how this goes. So what Jim Rohn was talking about is to turn nothing into something, you need an idea and you need some imagination around it. It's like nothing, so nothing exists. Before Uber existed, I believe that they were in Paris, they had a terrible taxi experience and they're like, how do we make this better, right? So that was firstly the idea around Uber. And with any innovation, any product, any business, anything you do, it just kicks off with, there's nothing there and then suddenly an idea pops up. The next part of that, and the reason I'm talking about this is because that's what happened with my very small project, just painting the room. The idea popped up, I need to do something with this room. I just want to make it more bright, a bit more on brand, that type of thing. And as I was looking for inspiration, I saw this lady, Lee Turner, on LinkedIn. She has a hot pink background. She's got these white shelves, a really cool laser cut logo as well. I'm like, that's exactly the style that I want. Obviously, I'm not going to steal her look. I've got my own brand colours. But then with the imagination part, what I'm not very good at, and this is why I need to get help from stylists in terms of visuals, it's not my strong suit. I'm not very visually minded and I can't imagine what it will look like. In fact, even doing those aptitude tests when we were in high school, in terms of my averages, and I got pretty high scores, except for spatial reasoning. I'm very poor at it. I just can't visualize when a 3D object is moved in a different direction or flipped over what it looks like. Really struggle with that. And so I was struggling with my imagination here. And what Jim Rohn talks about in his second step of turning nothing into something is that the imagination has to be so strong that you can actually see it. So when you're playing sport, you can really visualize things. Like if you're training for a marathon, you can visualize yourself hitting that finish line. If you're thinking about your dream car, you want to see yourself in that car. If you're even building a property and you're on the land that the house is going to be built, you can walk around and be like, all right, the bathroom's going to be here. The garage is going to be here. It's imagination so strong that you can see it. That really helps you turn nothing into something. So for this, I'm like, okay, how will this look? So I'm thinking, which brand color will I choose for my wall? What I did was, and this is like the 2025 version of what Jim Rohn was talking about. I went into ChatGPT. I've got the Pro subscription, so I have access to Sora. So top left if you're in ChatGPT. Sora is ChatGPT's image tool. I clicked in there. I said, hey, I uploaded a screenshot of me sitting in front of my computer with my current background. And I said, can you please mock this up so the walls look green? What will that look like with the shelf in the background? How will that look? And within 60 seconds, it actually showed me what it looked like. And I was like, hey, that looks actually awesome. So I didn't really need to play around too much. I tried a few different colors, but I have actually settled on the tropical green. And what AI helped me do was to visualize this and to really make it come to life and to also reduce the risk of stuffing up if I picked the wrong paint color. I could see how it looked in the context of my room, in terms of the furniture and the shelving and all that sort of stuff, the blinds, and yeah, it works really well. And so I've now done this also with making imagination real. I've created an AI version of myself standing upon the peak, Lobuche Peak in Nepal, smiling, excited, just to, again, visualize like what it is, I guess, that feeling and just seeing yourself up there. So this kind of takes vision boards to a whole new extent. You know how on vision boards you just get magazine cutouts and you like, oh yeah, I like that car, but it's not really the car that I want. Now you can be so precise with what you actually want your vision to be and get AI and a tool like Sora to imagine it for you. So again, I'm just shared like some really small projects that I think I've applied this on, but you can really take it for life goals, life dreams, and anything else like that. There's 2 more things that Jim Rohn talks about. He's like, you got to do the work to actually get to where, so get in, like take the action, do the activity. And then the fourth and final step of what Jim Rohn talks about is then you need the discipline to reinforce that. I'm sure there'll be a podcast later on about those final 2 steps, but for now, I just wanted to leave you with the idea and the imagination and how to make that feel real in your own mind still. So in the next live stream with Alan Weiss, you'll see me with this tropical green background. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.